As you're well aware, Wicked Part 1 is in theaters this weekend. Now, I saw a double feature. I saw Wicked Part 1 first and Gladiator 2. I saw both of them in IMAX. Wanted to make sure I saw both of them in IMAX because that's how they're filmed. I know that there are many people boycotting Wicked Part 1 because of the social commentary and implications. I'm not going to go into the social commentary of the film here. I just want to celebrate the filmmaking. I must admit, I have not read any of the books, but I've seen The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz hundreds of times in my lifetime. I know it like the back of my hand. I also saw Wicked, the stage play. I didn't like it. My daughter loves Wicked, the stage play. And so I was going to see it despite there being backlash and a boycott. I'm so glad I did. This film is brilliant. The craftsmanship of this film is stellar. I had two issues with it, which I'll get into, but I loved it. And I get it. And I'm going to try to do my best not to spoil it because I encourage you to see this film. Wicked was directed by John M. Chu, who also directed In the Heights, Crazy Rich Asians, and G.I. Joe. I like all of those films. I like him as a director, but he thinks so much outside the box. I think this is his best direction so far. I love the direction this takes because, again, I did not like this Broadway play. It didn't resonate with me. I won't say I didn't like it, but it didn't resonate with me. And I understand after seeing this film why the play didn't. Let's get into the story. If you are familiar with The Wizard of Oz, then you know that Glinda the Good Witch is the leader of the witches, and Elphaba is considered the Wicked Witch of the West. If you are unfamiliar with The Wizard of Oz, then this story takes you on the journey of the backstory because at the end of the day, this is an origin story. Glinda is played by Ariana Grande, brilliantly played by Ariana Grande. Cynthia Erivo delivers a career-defining performance as Elphaba. Michelle Yeoh plays the headmistress of their sorcery school, and Jeff Goldblum plays the great and powerful Oz. This is an origin story. It's so captivating. Now, the journey getting there is winding. It's somewhat of a slow burn. It's front loaded on Elphaba and Glinda's kindling friendship, and it does take its time. It's very deliberately paced. This film is almost 3 hours long, the runtime. And so it does take its time, but I was so mesmerized because it looks so beautiful. The world building is so captivating. Keep in mind, this is part one. There are some nuggets from The Wizard of Oz here. There are some Easter eggs, specifically the lion. Elphaba is somewhat of an animal activist. It takes a long time to understand that she is. You know, the lion, the mean old lion, the lion in The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz loses his carriage. That is not over explained or even oversimplified here, but they're just nuggets of that. The Wizard of Oz, the Yellow Brick Road, there are nuggets there that's building to part two and getting you to The Wizard of Oz, to the story that we've loved for, I don't know, many decades. Again, it's front loaded with this kindling friendship between Elphaba and Glinda, and the chemistry between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana is just unmatched. They have great on screen chemistry, which keeps you really invested in the story because they have such good chemistry. There are cameos in this film that are not wasted. These are substantive cameos that want to honor the original cast. The film really kicked into overdrive for me in the third act. It had me in a trance, that third act. Again, this film is almost 3 hours long. The first 2 hours is really building. Once she lands in Oz, that movie kicked into overdrive for me. Like it had me in a chokehold. There's this one scene where Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba, when she dons like the witch's cape and gets the broom, I was gone. I was no more good. Now, the Oscar chances. In the crafts category, I think John M. Chu should be nominated for Best Director. I don't think he's going to get it, but I think it is deserved. And I've seen just about everything this year. I know there's more to see. I haven't seen A Complete Unknown and Nosferatu and that whole bit. But so far up to this point, I know there are 5 slots. I think he deserves a spot, but he's not going to get it. This is a part one. I think that Ariana Grande deserves Best Supporting Actress, even though she's co-lead. Listen. And Cynthia Erivo, Best Leading Actress. I think she does an amazing job. She is so captivating in this film. I think she deserves. I think they're both long shots. It's a masterfully crafted film. I am so impressed with the production, the art design, the set design, the world building, the costume design. The costumes. Paul Tazwell is the costume designer for this film. He was also the costume designer on West Side Story and Hamilton. He was nominated for an Oscar for West Side Story. He didn't get it, but he is winning this hands down. Now, I saw Gladiator 2, and them costumes are perfect, but he is winning. He's about to become the second Black costume designer to win an Oscar, second to Ruthie Carter, who has 2, because oh, when I tell you the characters, they put it on. They look fabulous. The cameos, the background performers, the extras, the costumery is just beautiful. Like it is Barbie level. I mean, it is so beautiful. He is winning that Oscar. It is all but his. I know there's more to see. We got to see Nosferatu, but he's winning this Oscar. This film is just so epic. It's just on another level. The scale of craftsmanship just impressed me. Now, there are a couple of things that I didn't necessarily like that don't depreciate from the mastery of the film. There are 3 things I'll say. One, the wigs, hair and makeup. It was driving me crazy with specifically Ariana Grande, her as Glinda, her wig, this blonde synthetic wig, and I know it was synthetic, but it looked synthetic. The texture of it, it was frizzy. I don't know. It looked out of place to me for someone as all but put together. She is otherwise so put together, and this wig was so bad. Cynthia Erivo is green in this film, and there are a couple of times when the green melted with her dark skin. And so instead of her looking green, it looked like her skin. And that might have even been editing or the texturization, the technicolor or whatever it is, melding with the lighting. The other thing I had a problem with is the lighting. There is lighting issues in this film. And finally, the arrangement of the music, it didn't have any soul. This is me specifically. I think everyone else is going to love it. We clapped at the end, especially that final number that had me in tears. But I didn't like the arrangement of the music. Now, these are big numbers with great stunt choreography. It's well choreographed and that whole bit. But my God, it had no soul. And that may also contribute to why I didn't like the music of the Broadway play, because I don't like the arrangement of the music. I don't like the arrangement. I like the songs, but I feel like the songs aren't sing-alongs. I don't think it's interactive in that way. I love the ones that everybody knows and loves, Popular and Defying Gravity. Those were my favorites and those were standouts. The rest, I just didn't like the arrangement of the music. It didn't have enough soul for me to feel anything and resonate with. But Defying Gravity, it brought me to tears. Cynthia Erivo belts that song out like Jennifer Hudson and Dreamgirls, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. Like, it was that powerful. It moved me. I mean, shook me to my core. It is so beautiful. Now, is it a complete film? I know people are saying it is a complete film. It is not. It is very clear that this is a part one and it is not finished. And that's 2 hours and 40 minutes of runtime. It is not finished. They're telling you that this is a complete story. It is not. There is so much missing and so much builds up to part two in this film because they show the yellow brick road. They show Dorothy moving her way down the yellow brick road. I don't think it gets to the lion yet because the lion is a cub. It is definitely not a complete story. It's cohesive in the encapsulation of it, but it is unfinished and it is very clear that it is unfinished. I'm seeing it again. I'm probably going to see it on Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll see it again tomorrow. I'm going to see it in Dolby because this time I saw it in IMAX. I highly recommend this film. If I were grading this on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the greatest, I would give this an 8 for sure. This is a good film. You have to see this in the theater. It is such a crowd pleaser. There were applauses at the end. There are a couple applauses with the musical numbers. This is one you don't want to miss. See Wicked Part 1 in the theaters this weekend.